go to stations. Oof, hold it together, PC. Only gotta last for like less than a week at this point. There we go. Get ourselves some good, chill lo-fi going. Nothing ever was made worse by lo-fi, I'll tell you what. Some things are failed to be made better by lo-fi, depending on the scenario, but I don't know that I've ever had something that just kind of became a worse scenario for having just some chill lo-fi to the background. I feel like that's kind of where my headspace is right now. Definitely just need something chill, something subdued. Hold on, I gotta adjust my camera here. I'm a little nervous about, not nervous, but, whoops, wrong direction. There we go. Cool. Very nice. Just checking a couple things here. Okay. Alright, let's get to it. Let's get to it, shall we? Doing some, oh yeah, for like the sake of the VODs. Which I don't really know if it's worth bothering to do like an intro for the VODs. I don't know how many people are ever going to bother watching those, but no, I think it's nice to have them up, and it cost me literally about 30 seconds and, you know, a couple flips of the wrist and a couple do, so like I might as well do it. But I don't know, think of the VOD, I am Envira Boy. Today is, what is today? Today's April 5th. How are we in April already? How is it already past Easter? Man. It doesn't mean anything anymore, does it? Time is just like, we're in our own warp zone, where it's like A and B both an hour in a month, and it makes sense that it doesn't. It's like, that's just where we are these days. I mean, how are we supposed to keep track of all this stuff these days? At any rate, it is April 5th, 2021, and we're going to do some writing today. So yeah, I want to dive into, we're going to dive in, this is a level 4 dungeon here. I want to dive in, I want to get this dungeon taken care of, because my goal for this week, not today really, this week, is I want to finish up the hex that I've been working on. I want to tidy that up, because once that's tidied up, that's going to really cover us with the group that is heading towards that region, the group that I DM or that's heading into, because I have a lot of other just world building, world writing projects that I want to work on right now, but really just aren't. It's not exactly that they aren't an option, but like I'm trying to, I'm trying to focus on getting this hex done. So that would have an appropriate amount of, you know, gameplay stuff prepped for my players. So I want to finish this up this week. So if we do that, I mean, finishing all of this up this week, that's going to be months worth of gameplay. Considering that this group does not meet weekly. We meet about twice a month usually is about the average that we're maybe well, I guess average we're a little less than that, but we try to do twice a month. So that's going to give me a few months of gameplay out of it. Where really all I'll need to do to prep for that group is to just sort of review notes, make some notes about things, and instead we can work on some other projects, including still some stuff for that group. But I want to, like, if I've got this stuff taken care of, then that, whoops, oh, she's freaking manhandling this poor desk here. Yeah, if I can get that taken off, that gives me a lot of leeway, and it frees up a lot of sort of mental space for me. I'm someone who, it can definitely be a source of stress and anxiety for me if I let to-do lists grow too large and let things on that list sort of slip by the wayside. So I wanted to finish this up, and now that it's going to be finished up, it's going to free up a lot of brain space where I don't have to worry about having stuff. I don't have to worry about having material prepped for Oops, I did not mean to. There we go. Where I've got stuff prepped in terms of just mechanically what are they going to be doing in the game. And to me, that's kind of what makes it super valuable to do this and to make a lot of dungeons and a lot of stuff sort of prepped in advance. So once that's done, I have a lot of other. I just have some more general world building projects that I want to work on. I love making dungeon crawls. And in fact, I might be revisiting a lot of this because with my new PC, we might be switching. When I have a bit more, when I'm a bit braver about trying new programs, like new programs that I worry might tax my poor old computer a little too much. This poor baby. It's been such a good computer to me. I love it dearly, but it's struggling these days. The poor thing is struggling to keep up with my uses, is what I should say. As far as a computer goes, it is still an excellent machine, but for me, trying to stream on it, trying to use it for some gaming as a DM, doing all kinds of writing and photo editing stuff, I push its limits. So once I get my new PC, and I've got a lot more, a lot more veritable horsepower to work with, to dig into with this, I want to switch over to some different sort of more powerful platforms and stuff. So I might be revisiting some of these dungeons as far as just transferring them over to different formats goes. But aside from that, I want to do some world building. I've been kind of working on a backlog of just various lore ideas, various just general moods and atmospheres that I want to sort of plop down in the world, if that makes sense. And so that's what I'm going to be working on, just doing some generalized mapping stuff, so that way when it comes time to start fleshing out more hexes and doing some more detailed world building, I sort of haven't forgotten all of these other ideas that I'm coming up with. So, but I suppose the most important part of making progress on this type of project is to actually go ahead and make some progress on this stuff. So we need to work on this dungeon just a little bit. So, intended player level is going to be, unbold that, level 4, just hold on. Oh, man. Oh boy, this is super entertaining stuff, isn't it? Great television that I'm making Great entertainment I'm making right now. Me sitting here fucking checking shit on my phone. It's not ideal, but it's a Monday, and somehow I've never really understood it. And maybe someone can help me understand the magic behind this, but there's some sort of weird, twisted, dark magic in the real world here where work multiplies over the weekend even though there's no one else working to provide that work for me. I don't understand how that goes in my day job. I don't understand it. I'll tidy up everything on Friday, be like, okay, I know exactly the 4 things that I've got going on Friday, and it'll be great. And then I come back Monday morning and it's like that's somehow multiplied to like 10 things. I'm like, what gives? What happened? Where did all of this come from? There's no one working Saturday, no one working Sunday. We're not allowed to. We're unionized government workers. Our bosses get in trouble if we work overtime because we don't get paid overtime. Or rather, what I should say is we get in trouble from our bosses because they don't have the budget to pay us overtime, but then they get in trouble by the union if they don't pay us overtime and we work overtime. Therefore, we are required to stop working after our 40 hours a week, which is nice. It's super awesome. That's a different tangent. What I'm focusing on here, what I'm miffed about, is the fact that it never ends. There's always more stuff. I'll leave on Friday and have nothing scheduled for Monday, or for the next week, rather, and I come back Monday morning and suddenly I've got like 5 different meetings scheduled on my calendar. And I'm like, what? Where did this come from? What happened? How did this happen? I feel like I'm in like one of those sim type of games, like, you know, Auto Mechanic Sim or something like that, where it just like generates work for you, right? The computer just randomly generates it. And I'm like, what? Hey, like, that's not how this works. It's not fair. I don't get it. I don't get it. Ah, boy, I just don't get it. Gosh, I'm sorry. This is so lame and uninteresting. I really hope no one's watching right now. Like, that's a weird thing for a streamer to say, but I hope no one's, like, watching this and being like, wow, this guy sucks. Because I do. I'm terrible. But, I don't know. Just, you know, things, I gotta do what I gotta do. Oh my gosh, and it doesn't help, it's not helping that autocorrect has very different ideas about what it is I'm trying to say. Like, technology's against me in that one. I don't know about anyone else, but I have never, ever gotten along with autocorrect. I don't know, especially now that they have swipe where you can just kind of like move your finger from letter to letter and then it'll like, you know, it'll come up with the letters that you need and you can do that. But like, I don't know, the point is I have never gotten along with autocorrect. I hate autocorrect. It autocorrects, it does its job. It just corrects it to the wrong thing. So it's like, yes, things are spelled correctly, but not the thing that I need. Most annoyingly, I don't know if this is just something that my big fat sausage hands do on these screens, but anytime I try to type the word the, it does the word 3. But here's the kicker. Whenever I try to do the word 3, it does the word the. You'd think just context, it would figure that you don't use those words interchangeably. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And here, ranting. I'm a dumbass. Why does anyone watch me? No wonder no one likes shit, man. I'm the damn worst at this. Okay. I'm in it. Okay. Yeah. So we're just trying to set up the baselines here. Yeah. So what I want to do, so here's what's gonna make this tough. Writing this whirlpool dungeon. I know that I want to make some sort of really bizarro land whirlpool where it's like you can get sucked into it, and you know, if you're on a ship. I have not thought about it beyond that. I have no idea what I want to do. Are we at the bottom of the ocean? Is it some weird alternative to reality? Is just like on the ship, is like the map really just your boat? I don't know, man. I have not thought about this in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know what the hell to do for it. Because like it's not really that it's a whirlpool. It's that there's a rift in reality, right? Just like what I think I've kind of gone over it in my world with the unhinging. there are rips and tears in reality between the different planes, different realms. The elemental, philosophical, and moral realms. Two. Look at this. I've got 2 spams. I've got 2 spams popping up in here. Oh my god, I got 3 separate ones. Oh my god, I can buy followers. Well, shit. What am I sitting here trying to actually connect with people for when I can just purchase this? Oh my god, my thing is just getting spammed like nobody's business right now. Is there a way to like mod this shit? Oh fuck. Fucking hell, man, this is just a nightmare. I don't know. How do I mod this, man? Let's see here. I can probably just like ban these. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we're just gonna ban all these ones that are trying to make me be famous and shit. Let's do that. There's that. Let's see here. That one. Yeah, I don't need this shit. I don't need all this spam bullshit happening here, man. Like fucking. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, here's a rant. Here's a fun rant. Sort of like a buying views and shit like that. I get it. It's a hustle, especially if you're trying to be, if you're trying to be a professional streamer, right? And you're trying to be able to make a living off of this. I get it. It's a hustle to get views, so that way you can get ad deals, so that way you can get revenue, you can get subscribers, you can get sponsorships, and all that kind of stuff. I get it. It's a grind, and you got to do whatever you want to do. But the concept of buying views, it just doesn't really make sense to me. Because isn't the point of choosing this as a career, like if you wanted to do this professionally, isn't the point of it to be trying to like reach people and connect with people, whatever your audience is and whatever your connection with them is based upon, whether it's humor, entertainment, whether it's because you're skilled, whatever it is, like shouldn't the point be connecting with people? And if you're just buying views from bots and view farms, doesn't that kind of take away and destroy the whole point of it? I mean, I guess my perspective is going to be different on this, because if I never have another single viewer again for as long as I decide I want to stream, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference to me, because I have a job that I enjoy, that is fulfilling to me, and that pays the bills for me. So I just don't have that pressure. Kitty tail coming through. Meow. I don't have that same pressure that a lot of streamers have. So maybe that changes things for me, but I don't know, it just seems so counterintuitive to me. It just seems to really defeat the purpose. Why bother? You can see little kitty head kind of peeking in here. She's being a little sweetheart. She's been such a sweetheart to me today. It's been a rough day for me. She's been a good kitty. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why would you want to do that? And and I don't know. It kind of comes down to what most of the issues that I get worked up about are, where it's the truth, the ultimate truth behind it is that I'm too idealistic for this world. I have too much hope for this world. I have too much confidence in people being altruistic and good to each other in this world, and it just blows up in my face all the time. And I don't know. I really wish that we as non-greedy people had more power in this world, but I guess it's kind of the point, isn't it? Like if we had the power, then we wouldn't be the not greedy ones. The not greedy ones are the ones that aren't living for the power. I don't know. It all just kind of devolves into a power fantasy about having a Death Note notebook and just being able to fuck over all of the assholes in the world and just leave it with all the good people. But then you run into the standard moral conundrums, like who is good enough to decide such things, The answer is no one, because as soon as you're willing to kill someone for it, then you forfeit yourself as being a good person, because a good person would never kill, and yada yada yada, and on it goes. And then I could torture myself for endless amounts of time on this type of thing. Oh boy, my thing was still freaking out on me. Okay, hold up. This is just going to be, I think, I get the sense that this is going to be a recurring thing, so I'm going to do my best to keep any sort of responses to work short here so we can get some stuff done. There we go. Okay. Alright. So, okay, let's see. I have the feeling that I'm going to be just so rant heavy today. It's not going to be fun for someone who just wants straight up writing. I don't know. I'll do my best. I'll do my best to just keep it focused here. We can just get some stuff done. I can be a professional, damn it. Alright, number of room sets. So this is number 4. I need to look at... is it here or is it... No, it's going to be in the challenge levels. Yeah, so okay, so the level 4... So we're going to have 2 sets of rooms. So it's going to be a 2-story dungeon, essentially. What you doing there, kitty? What you doing there, little gargoyle cat? Look at this little gargoyle cat. Where is she? Look at this little gargoyle cat. Just sitting there on the corner of the desk. You know, keeping track of me and keeping track of the birds outside. What a good cat. What a good little kitty. She has been my therapy cat today. It has been a long, tiring day, which always brings me down a notch or two, and she has been doing a wonderful job of keeping me on the up and up. So this cat she is a wonderful companion. Although she is a little stupid sometimes, but I mean, what cat isn't? That's kind of like the beauty of cats. They somehow manage to live lives that are both elegant and both elegant and ridiculous all at the same time. Like right now, she is now rubbing her face on the corner of the desk. You know, she was looking elegant and regal, and now she just looks like an idiot. Cats are beautiful creatures. She is the top cat. I'll tell you what. Okay, so let's see here. So we got 2 room sets. Don't you dare use your tail to knock off my papers now. I was just trying to compliment you. You know, I'm doing okay. It has been a tiring day. It has been a long, tiring day of a lot of... With my day job... With my day job, I have been very busy. Lots of things coming up. You just missed a rant about how it is just the most ridiculous fact of the world that the one form of magic that seems to exist in this world is the magic that I can work at a place that shuts down at 5 p.m. on a Friday, and I can leave well, like right now it's metaphorically leave the office, but even beforehand it was literally I could leave the office 5 p.m. on a Friday, right, when no one else is going to be working there. We are by union contracts. We're not allowed, can't do that unless it's extremely extenuating circumstances. It doesn't happen, right? I could leave on a Friday, look at my calendar and see that I have nothing planned for the next week, And then I can come in and I can log in Monday morning at 8 a.m. and find like 5 things on my calendar that weren't there. It's like, where does it come from? Oh yeah, of course we have to work Easter Monday. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We don't get Easter off. Well, it's okay. It depends on where you work. And for me, I work at a government facility, so religious holidays don't get treatment. The exception sort of being Christmas, but Christmas sort of at this point in time really has kind of transcended the religion behind it. But Easter, because Easter is a Sunday holiday, it is a weekend holiday, we don't get observed Monday. You know, and a lot of that comes back to the whole separating church and state type of thing, which actually I'm totally okay with, because I personally don't give a shit about Easter. You get it off? God damn it, that's stupid. Everyone else gets it off. That's bullshit. No, I don't know. I don't mind getting it off. I get, by American standards, I get actually pretty substantial holidays and holiday pay. I didn't get any eggs either. I got well, okay, I guess I kind of did. I did go to the store yesterday on Easter Sunday, and I did get myself a Reese's peanut butter egg, because they were out of Cadbury eggs, which is, I mean, it's my own dumbass fault for not getting any before. You know, it's my own fault that I missed out, but you know how it is. But it was a shitty peanut butter egg, and it was like, I mean, you know, it was a shitty piece of candy, but hey, you know, it was special. It was special in Easter, so fuck it. But yeah, no, I don't get Easter Monday off, but I'm okay with that. Compared to most of my peers here in America, I do get pretty substantial holiday payoff, including I do get the election Tuesdays off. I do get election days in America off, which is a very depressingly rare thing. It's something that I am a huge champion of changing. I'm not a champion of it. I'm a proponent of it. It's absolutely something that needs to be changed in America. And I'm really glad to be part of an organization that does give us voting day as a holiday. So whenever an election comes around, I have zero excuse to not vote. So it's like, you know, trade-offs like that. I'm okay with it. But yeah, no, I did not get today off. No, instead I got headaches today. And again, like I'm saying, where does the work come from? No one was working this weekend. No one in my office was working this weekend. And yet somehow I had more stuff to do on Monday than when I left Friday. What? It's bullshit. I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. So today we're working on, I was just talking to the air about what I want to do, talking to myself, kind of planning what I want to do, and really what I want to be doing right now is I have a lot of just generalized world building, lore building ideas that I want to work on. But I feel a sense of responsibility to make sure that I have enough stuff prepped for all of my my actual games that I DM for. So what I want to do is I want to finish up the hex. I got it pulled up. I want to finish up our hex with our island in it here today. Well, I don't want to finish the hex today. That's going to take for fucking ever. We're going to try and finish the hex this week. I want to finish that up because once I've done that, I'll have a few months of a buffer zone in terms of what I have prepped for my players as they go through it. Unless they really just sort of light speed their way or fucking throw a curveball and just decide to abandon anything that they've been working on as a group so far. So how many miles is a hex? What did I decide on that? I don't know. It's like if we oops, wrong one. Damn it! I have so many tabs open. Did I put? It would be really irresponsible for me. Here we go. Yeah, I did keep the thing in here. So you can kind of see here, a hex is about 120 miles across. It's a big world. It's a really big world. So, yeah, so it's a big world and stuff, and which means there's a whole lot of stuff, and I've got ideas for every part of this world. Like, this is, to me, this world is a lifelong project. This isn't this year I want to make this world. No, this is a lifelong world building project. This is something that I would love to, in my free time, and as I go on through the years, through my life, I would love to maybe try and write some fantasy novels that take place in this world. Like, this is my Middle Earth, and it's just not to say that it's anywhere as good as Middle Earth. Like, good lord, I would sell both of my nuts and probably both of my hands in a heartbeat to be as good of a writer as Tolkien. But like that's kind of what this is for me. This is just a big world, and the thing about it too is it's definitely a slow burn process, because I also have a galaxy that I'm doing the same thing for, and that's just one that I haven't really bothered streaming it, because I think this is more compelling and more relatable because it directly relates to D&D. And it's not even just about trying to be popular, but more so like making sure that what I'm working on is stuff that can be stuff that is discussable, that is interesting and relatable to other people who are interested in it. Do I hate myself? Yes, but not related to any of this. No. No, this is one of the few things that I enjoy about myself. One of the few hobbies. It's not productive in the sense of like I'm not making any money or anything off of it, but it's productive as in like it really is one of the more guided things that I do compared to like just the other random bullshit like playing video games and shit that I do. Yeah, no, I hate myself plenty. Which is the more directly related one to how much I despise myself and what I think I deserve in life is my determination to train martial arts regularly, including going to sparring sessions with guys who step in the ring. No, getting hit in the face, that's me exercising my general distaste and belief that I deserve every bit of pain I get in this life. Speaking in various levels of facetious versus reality here. I can try to explain something to you. It depends on what that thing is. There's some things that I'm good at explaining. There's other things that I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Let's see here. For something called a boba, I can think of two things when I see boba. I can think of Boba Fett, the Star Wars character, but I feel like that would probably be more something that you'd be aware of. And I mean, I can see someone having an insane love for Boba Fett. Probably a lot of people do with Star Wars. But the other thing that I can think of with boba is if they're referring to like bubble tea or boba tea. It depends. A food or something. Yeah. So it's probably bubble tea. Which is also referred to. So I don't know if you know what bubble tea is. Essentially, it's tea that has balls of flavored tapioca. It's Asian. I want to say Japanese, but I am not nearly cultured enough to actually know the nuance about where in Asia the trend comes from. I'm far too American to be able to make that distinction. But yeah, it's a tea. It's a cold tea beverage that has bubbles of like tapioca pudding type of substance in it. So so it's like, yeah, you get one of them big ass straws. It's like, it's like fucking a quarter around. So it's like you're sucking on someone when you're trying to drink it up, because you have to have a big tea. It's not actually that big. The little bubbles are, I don't know, maybe a little bigger than a pea. Kind of like a chickpea or something like that, maybe in size. But yeah, the little bubbles of tapioca, and a lot of places have, like, especially in America, it's a very trendy thing right now to go to like bubble tea or boba tea places. So I would assume that's what they're talking about. I enjoy boba tea as an infrequent treat. It has a very unique flavor. Like, you can add flavorings and stuff like that, but to have cold tea with tapioca as like a little chewy treat that comes up with it, it's a very unique flavor profile that for me, I have to be in a very specific mood for. And despite the fact that most people will get it when they get sushi and or Chinese takeout around here, I don't find that the flavor profile goes with anything. When I get boba tea, I will oftentimes get it with like sushi or Chinese takeout because that's where you can get it. It's like where one of the easiest places to get it is sort of in that quarter of whatever city you live in or whatever. But I will have that as a completely separate thing. I'll just like drink the tea as a dessert beverage or something like that, because they'll add a lot of times they'll add like different sugary sweet fruit flavors, you know, so you can get like, you know, and they'll do the same with the tapioca. So it's like the baseline is like you would have a tapioca flavored boba, which are the little bubbles, with just like a green tea or a black tea, you know, maybe a little bit of sugar. But a lot of places really have turned it into sort of like a treat thing that you can almost, like, I almost think about it as being just an alternative to getting soft serve after a meal or something like that, because you can get, you know, different flavored pudding, you know, different flavored of the like the tapioca balls, so you can get different fruits or like vanilla or butterscotch or whatever. And then in the tea, they'll do like green tea with whatever flavorings you want. So they'll put in like, you know, mango syrup or strawberry or pineapple or something like that. So yeah, so that's I would assume that's what they're talking about. And yeah, it's extremely trendy, especially on the coasts around here. Salted caramel would be fucking good. I don't know if I've actually seen that. That's a damn good idea right there. Yeah, you know what that makes me think of? You need to fucking do some boba coffee or something like that. Can you imagine like an iced coffee with little pudding balls in it? Oh fuck, man! Now I'm gonna try and invent that. Holy shit. But yeah, it's really trendy. Kind of in the coasts where all of the like the trendy hipster type of cultures are. And in college towns in general, college towns. So like where I live, we'll split the profits 50-50, Spesh. That's what we'll do. We'll split whatever profits we get out of it. And no, it's in college towns it's really big. So in my city where there's really only like, you know, a couple community colleges, it's not like you can find the places, but it's not really a thing around here. You don't hear people going out for stuff like that. Around here there's just different scenes that people are big on around here. Rock climbing is kind of a really big one that I am definitely a slut for. Like, I am all about rock climbing. I love it. It would be a college student, yeah. No, like I don't mean that derogatorily either. It's just, you know, like that's where you find the trends, and especially when you find international trends. Like the big universities around here, you know, there's a growing trend, and this is something that we could really get into like a socio-economical discussion about the trends of American money and where there's money and where there's investment in American culture and stuff like that. But it's very big. Like boba tea and the like are very popular in large international universities that have large populations of international students. You know, so they sort of cater. They find a way to sort of Americanize culture, like other cultures, you know. So like boba tea with all the different flavors and stuff like that is a really good example of that, where it's like you can find the traditional but then they Americanize it, so that way it services more than just that small niche international, you know, subculture. So yeah, so you see a lot of those things in those types of scenarios. So yeah, no, that's probably what they're referring to. I would assume so. Oh man, rock climbing is so much fun. I do bouldering personally. I don't do top roping. So top roping is when you go really high and you have a rope to catch you if you fall. Bouldering is you are complete without ropes, but you're sticking to only so many feet off the ground. And so personally, I'm more a fan of bouldering just because it's a lot easier to find places to boulder, and it's just generally easier to just like on a whim go bouldering, because you don't need a whole lot of stuff. You don't need a partner for it. You can just kind of go do it. So I love it though. I love it. It's a really good yin to the yang of martial arts, I find, because you know I trained and you know when there's more time and I can invest more time in different arts, I like to delve more into MMA and stuff. But Martial arts is very fast-paced, very rapid, very reactionary, impulsive, reflexive type of thing. Whereas, very centered, you have to stay close in, on guard. Whereas rock climbing is very slow, meditative, and, your balance, the whole point of it is to find new balances where you're kind of moving slowly, reaching, keeping track of exactly, every inch that you move. So they're very different arts that I find, because of how opposite they are, they kind of complement me in life in general. Kind of like how martial arts and yoga go well together really well. Welcome to the Department of Redundancy department. Let's see here. Current overlord. See, okay, so here's what I was getting at with this whirlpool. I kind of started talking about it. I don't know what the hell to do with it. I wrote it in there because I had an idea that, it'd be kind of cool if there was some sort of thing in the middle of the ocean that would, draw in ships. And so that's where the idea of the whirlpool came in, because really what it is there's, a rift between the different, between some of the planes, material and elemental, right? Is sort of the idea behind it. And so that rift is what's causing the whirlpool, and the whirlpool will just draw wayward ships into it. But I kind of left it at that. I didn't have a whole lot else to think about. So as far as an overlord goes, I don't even know if there would be one. This is just an accidental existence. There's nothing really to overlord. So shoot, hold on. My phone's exploding on me. Okay, that can wait for a moment. Okay. Yeah, a freelance, something like that. I don't know if I'd call it free, because the idea that's the little idea seed that might be trying to turn into an idea blossom, to a full-blown idea flower in my head is, if this would be kind of cool if it's not so much a dungeon, but rather just a weird cacophony of a couple different elemental planes that players are just kind of trying to, if they get sucked in, they get thrown from their ship. They get sucked in on their ship and thrown from their ship, and really the only goal of it is to escape. And so it's more of a shut up, Macrium. God damn it, it does this every time. It does it every freaking time. Nothing. I will not hear a single thing from it all day long. And then as soon as I start streaming, it's all like, hey, you should back up your computer. You should update us. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to delete the program, because I'm going to make a backup of this PC before I transfer over to my new one once it comes in. But I also don't want to bother going through and wasting all my bandwidth and shit and trying to download an update for a computer that I'm not going to use in a week. Damn it! There's probably, if I were actually patient to go into the settings, there's probably a way for me to just change it. Have an update on that. Yeah, there's probably an update. That's what the rant is. There's probably an update, but you probably mean on my computer. No updates yet. There's still it's in the process of being. They're doing the integration stages of it, where it's you'd skip it if you were building your own computer, because if there's a problem with it, you can just freaking fix it yourself. You did your own thing. But this company that I went to, one of the reasons that I chose them is they take the time to go through the integration process, and so they just kind of benchmark and stress test the computer a little bit to make sure that everything is working right and there's no problems. And it entered that phase on, it was the end of the day Thursday or something like that last week, and they say it can take anywhere from 2 to 5 business days. So last I checked earlier today, it was still in that phase, but I have hope that within the next couple of days it'll be kicked from there, and the last step there is they'll do just one final quality assurance check, and then they'll throw it in a box and send it my way, hopefully not via FedEx, because they suck ass at shipping things in a safe manner. But yeah, so we're getting there. we're getting there. It should be. I'm hoping that if I don't have it this week, it will be shipped this week, so that definitely next week I will have a new computer. But I'm not being impatient. I'm be really patient because in the market, the way it is right now for PC parts, like fuck, the fact that I'm getting a 3070 at all is just absolutely boner inducing. Like I am more than happy to be patient to be getting, like, the fact is I'm getting the exact computer I would have built for myself without the trouble of having to hunt down parts, having to fight against bots and scalpers, having to go through all of that rigmarole. Just having someone who's just gonna be like, I'm probably dropping frames. My internet has been shit today. Yeah, I think it's on my end. I'm dropping frames periodically. I don't know. There's not much I can do about it. Yeah, old computer. My internet sometimes is garbage. We've had a lot of storms today. It can affect the internet quality around my place. There's not much I can do about it. I think it's my fault. Not me. I think it's me, unfortunately. Yeah, that's probably on my end. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm definitely. It's like doing it in small, infrequent amounts, at least according to my system readouts here, that it's not going to be worth it to restart the stream or anything. It does, yeah, the new PC's amazing. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, no, don't worry about it on your guys' end. It's definitely my computer today. It's just, add it to the pile of dog doo that has been my Monday. Every week has a worst day, so maybe that just means that I'm getting my worst day out of the way today. No, I would not be surprised if the weather is impacting it. We've had some high winds and some storms, and I mean that just naturally will impact things around here. So it's what I get for living close to a lake, so a big one. Stupid bodies of water. What am I doing? I haven't done any writing today. This is the worst writing stream. I'm terrible at this. Why do you guys watch me? I'm terrible at this, man. Let's see here. I should definitely be writing some shit. It's not your fault. No, I actually dig the conversations. It's one of the things that I really like about streaming in general is that you just find people who share interests with you. It's one of the cool things about technology these days. You can find people that are interesting, and the thing that's cool about streaming is, generally speaking, you can kind of, just the nature of the way it works, you filter out all of the buttheads that are just there to fucking ruin your day, right? Because it's they're not going to sit here and try to break through via some messages while I'm sitting here ranting about bullshit, but then so they'll just leave and I can just ignore them and instead focus on having conversations with cool people are in the chat right now. So I don't know, I dig it. It's nice. It's a good social outlet for someone like me who's stuck at home 24/7 because of COVID and working from home and all that shit. So it's cool. It's cool. I dig it. But I don't know, Whirlpool. So here's the idea. I kind of started to get into it. Here's the idea that I have in mind that's kind of blossoming. It's just an amalgamation of a few different bits and pieces of different. I'm thinking elemental planes would be kind of fun to explore. So it's a chunk of it, because that's what's causing the whirlpool, right? It's just a big tear in reality. And so what would that mean? That would mean that there's this weird Tesseract-esque, where things are moving and constantly changing in various dimensions between whatever realms are getting kind of pancaked together and mixed and stirred. So I kind of have in my head just sort of this weird tumultuous environment that's half fire plane, half earth plane, but then also there's weird patches of water everywhere because you're in the middle of the ocean for the mortal plane or something like that. Is just sort of the idea that I have. And so I'm kind of in my mind just getting this kind of strange amalgamation, and rather than doing 2 stories, since this is supposed to have 2 sets of rooms, I'm just gonna make a big 20 room kind of mega dungeon out of it. Is kind of what I'm thinking. And like, it's kind of hard for me in a sense, because I try to not have anything in my world that doesn't link back to other things, but the nature of the unhinging is that sometimes there are just weird, disjointed chunks of nothing and everything that just doesn't relate to anything else. So for the history here, this is just going to be real simple. So yeah, like something like that. The Pirates of the Caribbean scene at World's End and stuff like that. That's kind of, yeah, it's definitely sort of inspired in the same vein as that. Whereas just the whirlpool itself it exists there, and there's nothing that would cause a player or a group of players to seek it out. But if they're navigating and just by happenstance rolls get lost during the navigation, hi kitty. Oh, I know, we're gonna snuggle up. Okay, that's okay. That's a good kitty. Yeah, so it's like there's nothing that they would seek out, but while trying to navigate the waters, they could definitely find themselves trapped in it. Is sort of the idea, and it could just be like a distraction mega dungeon. So I that's kind of where I'm leaning here. So for the history, we'll just say, hi kitty, you're very cute. I know, you're a good kitty. You're a very good therapy pet. I wonder if you can't quite see her ears, like her ears are right there. Yeah, see, this is my hand. You can just barely see her ear a little bit there, I think. No, that's just the stripe on my sweater. Anyway, no, she's a good baby. She's a good little baby. Yeah, exactly. Like the currents would go there, and so if the players get some bad navigation rolls, and then that would pull them in. Any dream stuff? So I guess it kind of depends on what you mean by dream stuff. I use dreams and sleeping as a way to inject character arcs via patron deities and stuff like that. So I a lot of times will at night, when players are camped out for the night, have one of them, be contacted by their chosen deity, or sometimes by a deity that they would not choose, to add some intrigue. But that's kind of what I'll do with dream stuff. As far as having players do a dungeon and stuff like that, I haven't done it. I'm not opposed to it. It could certainly be a useful tool. I've not found a situation in any of my games or in my world in which that felt like it was the next logical step, if that makes sense. I mean, this is kind of rich using the concept of logic during a, in a completely fictional game, but. So the way I envision that, so the way I do things, and we can kind of go into, we can talk a little bit about how I design my world. So this is for the hex overall, this page. And what I do is whenever players are navigating and traveling from like one destination to the next, is whatever hex they're in, there are random tables for day and night, and in this one, because there's water, for land and sea. And so I have them basically just, whoever is feeling lucky takes a d20 and just rolls for events. Sometimes there's no encounter, it's super quiet. Sometimes they'll just find some basic enemies to encounter. Sometimes they'll find, they'll come across a random NPC. And so it's the kind of thing where it's like it would be a random happenstance to encounter the whirlpool, right? So it's like maybe there's a storm and the currents are stronger and going there. And then probably what I would do for that is then just sort of invoke like like an ability challenge type of thing, where the players need to successfully navigate, and they can get advantage on that if they are being escorted by, a seasoned sailor, or if one of the characters as part of their backstory is a sailor. Which actually for this group, the whole group started because they wanted to be pirates, so a lot of them do have sailor backgrounds. So for them, they would probably get some advantage on avoiding it. But that's kind of the idea. Is like it would be a random thing to submit, but then they would have to use their abilities and their skills to avoid getting stuck in it, or else suffer the consequences and all that jazz. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, Special. Using the encounters, using dream encounters as a way to get that. So in that scenario, I think that would be really good. It's like you could almost utilize the dreams as like a way to connect them to each other until they're actually there together in person, in game in person. You know what I mean? No, that's a clever idea. I like that, and I think that works. Like I think using dream sequences is a great tool. I've just not run into a situation where it was one that I used yet. So no, I think that's clever. I think that's a really good way to go about it. Let's see here for the history. I'm just going to say something simple here. During the unhinging, many rifts in reality, connecting and intermingling the various planes of existence formed around the world of Zaoria. One such rift formed not far off the coast. Not far off this, we'll say the Saltwind coast, since that's where it is. We can see on our map here, if I zoom out a little, you can kind of see the Altwi part of Saltwind coast there. But if we zoom out a little bit, see, so this whole coast is called the Saltwind coast, due to the generalized pattern of winds bringing in sort of salty, wet breezes from the ocean. So they call it the Saltwind coast there. And so the whirlpool formed off the Saltwind coast near. Woo! There goes the cat. No problem, man. No problem, man. Glad you were able to stop by at all. And I mean, I know how it goes to take priority. That's why I sit here and look at my phone sometimes. I'm in the middle of stream. It sucks, but yeah, with some luck, depending on how it is, I can only be on for another half hour. But I will, as always, I'll have the VODs up, so you can watch them on Twitch or on the YouTube. So if you want to catch up on what we go over through the rest of it, by all means, it'll be there. But thanks for stopping by at all. I appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, if you're done within a half hour, come check it out. I'll be here till local time 3:30, your time whatever 30, whatever hour it is now for you 30. Yeah, you can come check us out. But yeah, no, thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you and the conversation that you bring. Let's see here. You're in island. Well, we'll just say not far off the Saltwind coast. Saltwind coast. We'll say near the city of Bepimat, because that's the city. Over the years since the unhinging, the tumultuous of this rift has caused many changes in current flow differently year after year. Storms come and go, seemingly at random, and magical. We're gonna call it radiation, because it's kind of how I imagine like a lot of these rifts interact with the world. There's like a sense of like, almost like a Chernobyl-esque radiation that comes from these rifts, where it's magic that causes the like mutations and stuff in the world. Is sort of the idea I have. So we're gonna say, in magical radiation has mutated nearly all life within its reach, both physically and mentally. We'll say most overtly, a large whirlpool, a large whirlpool. This song is not very relaxing, is it? Skip it. It's really distracting me, man. My head is not in a place to just like goof around with all kinds of weird distracting music like that. Like I've been working on so many reports all day that I've got the brain fog as it is. There we go. Yeah, we got some music on. I already got the brain fog as it is, man. I don't need other stuff distracting me from it. As you've probably noticed, I'm a little scattered in my thought processes and easily distracted today. Which really is a pretty normal thing for me after a busy day with a lot of reports and stuff. As much as I'm getting used to that type of work with my job, you know, having been in it for a little while now, like there's only so much you can do. There's only so much like mental exercise you can do. It's like if you were trying to do a pull-up and hold yourself in that pull-up position for too long. Like even if you're strong enough to get up there, and even if you're in good shape, eventually, man, that fatigue wears you down. You get that in your brain. Why is this straw not working? I don't understand. It's a metal straw. There's no holes in it. Whatever. Fuck it. And apparently I'm so fogged up that I can't even do straws right. I mean, that gives you an idea about what kind of a fucked up mess I am at this point. Okay. So where was I? Most overtly, a large whirlpool has formed. Beginning at the ocean surface, terminating within the rift. Careless sailors can easily find themselves trapped within the grasp of the funnel and pulled into a strange limbo land. Yeah, we'll call it limbo land, where reggae music plays and flaming tikis hold up low bars for you to go under. I mean, that was not a great joke. That was pretty low-hanging fruit. Into a strange... I don't like the term limbo land. That just doesn't stuff to me even when I'm writing these, because like I say, when I write these bios and stuff like that, I try to make them things that I can actually just like read to players, and it'll sound good and intriguing and interesting to them. And a lot of that is just figuring out how to use language properly so that it sounds literary and like attention grabbing. And saying limbo land just it sounds like a shitty version of Chuck E. Cheese or something. Like I don't know. Yeah. Moving on from into a strange place caught in between the mortal plane and the elemental planes of fire and earth is what we'll call it. So there's going to be like a lot of lava and stuff like that, but with weird like waterfalls where chunks of reality, and like that's where the whirlpool. So okay, so now the idea is starting to like kind of drift together. And see, this is why I set these sort of creative challenges for myself with my writing. these creative writing challenges, because I feel like they just make me a more creative person. But it's like I set a problem and I have to figure out a solution for it. In this case, the problem being where the mystical Limburger lives. I like that. I like that, Damien. That's a good one. Limbo Land, where the mystical Limburger lives, and you must limbo to achieve it before receiving receiving judgment on whether you go to heaven or hell. Like that's what it is. There's an eating contest and a limbo contest, and that's how you can decide whether or not your soul has found eternal salvation, or you must live in the to me already complete, and I don't really actually get better at being creative and coming up with things to write for my players, or if I ever wanted to pursue writing a series of books about this fantasy world that I'm creating. You know, if I only ever do the easy stuff, then it'll be hard where I can actually, like, you know, finish and come up with something new and interesting and unique. So, you know, case in point, I went into this knowing, like, yep, there's a whirlpool, and I'm starting to kind of get a strong picture in my mind of what this place will look like. You know, I can see there being sort of like this weird amalgamation of places where it's like some places you're just stuck in sort of canyons, winding canyons that'll suddenly just like open up into, you know, a magma pit that looks like you're at the base of a volcano. All the while there's various like waterfalls and stuff falling in and sort of like crumbling rock and extinguishing some parts of the flint, stuff like that. Just this weird kind of combination, amalgamation, where it's like the stone and fire come from the elemental planes, but then the water, that's what's getting sucked into this weird bubble of this like weird encompassing bubble of emptiness, you know, and it's like it sucks in some of the water from the ocean, and that's like what's forming the wells. It's essentially just draining. It's like you pulled the stopper on the bathtub, and it's almost like it's draining the water to a degree, and you know, just because of all of the various things, I haven't really thought of the detail it gets replenished, because we're talking hundreds of years. That would be enough to make it open if it weren't replenishing, but also it's magical and fictional, so who gives a shit how realistic it is. But like that's kind of what's in my head. And the concept, like the quote-unquote overlord or the boss of the area, I can imagine is just some sort of maybe like a fire golem or something like that. That's just like in distress. Like it's not even necessarily evil and wanting to attack the players. It's distress because of the fact that its home has been so ripped apart. It's been like scooped up this weird terrarium of earth and fire and water when it's used to just existing in a place of pure fire, right? So that's kind of what that's kind of where I'm going with this. I think in the end, and I think this could be really interesting. I think this could be a fun one to try and puzzle my way through. So elements here. So let's see here. So I'm just gonna give kind of a description of what I'm envisioning this place to look like. Let's see here. The map itself is a sort of self-contained bubble in self-contained should have a hyphen there. Self-contained would have two B's. Self-contained bubble in which captured parts of the material, earth, and fire planes have let's see here. Self-contained bubble in which captured parts of the material, earth, and fire planes have been forced together. The strange location. Let's see here. Strange location has an ever-shifting landscape of stone and lava, disrupting by heavy waterfalls. Waterfalls fed mortal, or say, material oceans surrounding the rift. Alright. Let's see here. Canyons open up to lava fields. Oops, lava fields. Waterfalls. Let's see, waterfalls flood the area. Let's see here. Breaking down this. We'll say. Actually, no. We'll say. Area. Eroding away the stone and solidifying the magma, seemingly at random. So I'm trying to what I'm doing here, just to sort of explain my process. I'm trying to explain just like, or I'm trying to like map out just some basic story beats, some ways to like, you know, trigger my memory about what. Okay, yeah, this is what I was working on. This is what the direction is. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that's so rude. Excuse me. I'm not bored here. I'm thrilled. I'm just tired because the world is exhausting. Existence is pain. All I want is to sleep the eternal sleep. Yeah, so I'm trying to just like I try to paint clear pictures. Like I always say, it can be read to players for a narrative, you know, you know, diving board. Sleep is always good, man. I'll tell you what. I can't sleep now though. Like I've been sleeping like shit at night lately, and that's definitely not gonna help if I let myself nap the afternoon away. I'll tell you what, Damien. Sleep is good, but fuck, man. Boy, but it's, you know, my emotional problems aside, I'm a little messed up. Nah, I'm fine. Just burnt out after a long day. I'm like at the tail end of my work day, kind of dripping over here. And like the thing that's hard about it too is I have to muster up the energy because I still have my afternoon workout I got to do. I'm gonna do some rock climbing actually today. That's what I've got scheduled for my afternoon fitness. So really, what I got to do is I got to suck it the fuck up and get going here, find some energy. You know, maybe chug an extra cup of coffee or something, man. But yeah, so I try to describe these things so that they can be literary for the sake of reading them to players. And I do that because I am writing this right now, but there's a good chance I won't be presenting it to my players for months, if at all. Especially this one, because it's a random happenstance type of event that they may never see. Which I don't have a problem with, because again, this is a hobby of mine. Like this is just world building for me. I mean, fuck, man. Like, look at this shit. Where's that zoom? Look at this shit. I have a whole world, and I just make this shit for fun, you know. So this is a whole hobby for me. So I don't much worry about whether or not players do it because I have fun doing it. But I want to make sure that if we do come to it, whether it's months, years from now, I've got something to trigger my memory about. Okay, yeah, that's what the deal with this place is. That's what the spiel is. You're not wrong, Damien. You do have to take care of yourself. And I actually go through great pains to take care of myself. And like I say, in a lot of ways, that's why like I'll refuse solution, at least for what I have observed over approximate time. I've noticed this is less for me, whenever I'm a very routine, very schedule-oriented individual, and so for me, getting off, like if I get off schedule, if I get off routine, the solution isn't to play that. Like if I were to let myself start taking extra naps to, you know, treat that as a solution to the fact that I'm not sleeping as well, to me that's more so coddling a symptom than solving the problem. So what I'm more likely to do is stick with my routines, right? And you know, which is to be streaming right now at the my work day and then go do some rock climbing, right? That's my routine. That's my schedule. That's what I've set out for myself. That's what I planned yesterday. That's what I plan to take care of today. And instead be sort of meditative and aware of throughout the day what it could be that's causing me to sleep poorly at night. Try to be attentive. Like, is it as simple as, which I suspect is kind of the issue, it's warming up around here, and it, like, temperature-wise, because of the changing of the seasons, I'm at that state of limbo as we've been my whole life has a theme of limbo today. I'm kind of in that in-between state where it's like, if I ditch the blankets on my bed, I'll be too cold. Keeping that blanket makes me sweat just like a motherfucker at night, right? So, like, I think that's really what the issue is for me, is that my temperature does not regulate, so I do not stay comfortable through the night, so I wake up a lot, is what I think it is. And the nature of sleep, I don't know if anyone has ever looked into sleep or if they even care, but the nature of sleep is, if you wake up and then go back to sleep, that's when you start having, you can remember your really vivid dreams and stuff, because most people don't remember their dreams because you go through your REM cycles, right, and then by the time you wake up, you're gone through the REM cycle and doesn't really remember it. But if you wake up and go back to sleep, you remember your dreams because you're kind of like cutting into, rather than going through your normal rhythms and routines that lead to forgetting dreams, you get like woken up smack in the middle of it, and you're much more likely to remember it. And so for me, I've always had very active dreams, but when I sleep well at night, it's not an issue because I just sleep through and I forget about them. If I wake up a lot at night, I remember them, and sometimes they're good dreams, and sometimes they're very not good dreams for me. And they tend to be, and when they're not good dreams, rather than the shape of nightmares, for me, they tend to be things where it's like my brain enacts a scene about whatever is giving me anxiety throughout the days. So basically, I live all of the imaginary things that like would worry me throughout the day. It's like suddenly I live them in my dreams, and so it tends to make things troublesome for me. And so without going too much into my psychology, you're absolutely right. Taking care of yourself is an important thing, but for me, the important part of that is, rather than coddling a symptom, right, of poor sleep makes me tired, sleep more, that would just keep me up at night more, Whereas what I really need to do is figure out, okay, maybe if I just sleep with like an extra t-shirt on or something, that'll be the right balance, of not getting too sweaty or too cold at night to sleep through, and sleeping through the night properly. So it's all a complicated thing, and the really important thing for me to say after that is not advice at all for anyone. I mean, for the love of God, don't try to find solutions to solve your problems either, especially when we're talking about, healthy sleep cycles and stuff like that. Every person is so goddamn different. Like, do what works for you. Like, if it's naps, fucking do it, man. Fucking do that shit. But yeah, no, I do appreciate, though, Damien, I will say, I do appreciate the concern and the advice in general. I think that you are spot on. People do need to take care of themselves. I think people are better about that these days. And I think you're a good person for looking out for and reminding people to do that, because I think, nowadays, I think there's a weird culture of, and it's something that I don't think is necessarily unique to the times that we're currently living in or anything, but I think just generally speaking, humans have the tendency to sacrifice themselves for society. Whether or not from a positive outlook of, I'm trying to improve society, or from a negative outlook of society forces them to and they just go with it. But no, I think you're spot on. Taking care of yourself is a good thing. That's exactly what I'm going to stay up, have some fun streaming, and as soon as I'm done with this, and like 5 minutes. I've only got like 5 minutes left on this stream. As soon as I'm done with it, I'm going to go do some rock climbing, which is good. It gives me physical exercise. It takes care of my body. It's exercise that can kind of almost in some ways be rest for a lot of my body while working hard other parts of my body, so it's a really good way to balance out the the martial arts training that I do, the weightlifting and running. It's a really good different form of exercise, and it's fun. I enjoy it. It's a really fun thing. It's a hobby for me too, so it's it's a good thing, and I've got my meal all planned out. It'll be healthy, so yeah, no, but I will say I do appreciate the concern and the advice. I think you're a good person, and yeah, no, don't fall off. No, they got pads. I'm going to a gym. I'm going to a rock climbing gym. They got real thick padded floors. It's almost fun to fall sometimes. It's fun to fall when you intend to. It doesn't matter. You could fall 2 inches. It is not fun to fall when you're not expecting it. When you're like gripped, hanging on, and your hand slips, and you have that moment of like, your heart's immediately like, you can feel your heart just in your throat. That stuff is terrifying. But yeah, man. Yeah, I feel you on missing the gyms. You know what? Fuck it. We only got 5 minutes left. I'll talk about gyms rather than writing, because like, what the fuck else am I gonna get done in 5 minutes? I missed my gyms too. That was one of the hardest parts about quarantine and COVID for me to get through. I'm an active person. I train martial arts, I rock climb, I love weightlifting, I love just doing cardio. I love going in the mornings. I wake up 5 days a week. I wake up in the morning and I go to the gym and I do some weightlifting, and I either get on a treadmill, I go out and run afterwards if it's nice weather, or I get on a stair stepper. And I love that type of stuff. I feel better about it. I feel better about myself. I like myself better when I'm doing that. And when COVID hit, there was about a year that I couldn't do that. Nah, man, no. You gotta lose that attitude of fuck cardio. You gotta embrace it. You gotta embrace the pain, man. Embrace it. That's But yeah, like for that, there was a year there where I just, I couldn't go to any gyms, even if I were comfortable in the middle of COVID, they weren't open. I couldn't do that. And that was one of the most taxing things on my mental health. But I have since, in recent months, I have been fortunate enough to get my vaccine. So I've been able to go back to the gym. The gym has since opened up, and they have rules about wearing masks and stuff, which I appreciate. And so, it's safe to go there. I feel confident about the safety there. I've been invited back to my martial arts classes again, so it's a small group of people, but I'm training martial arts again, and it is just such an improvement on life. Damien, I don't know whereabouts in the world you are, but if you're someplace where the weather's starting to get a bit nicer, like it is for where I am right now, it's, today it's not been so nice. It's been very stormy, which tends to happen this time of year. It's around spring for me. But if it's nice, like I certainly encourage, even if it's just going for a walk, if you find a nature trail or something like that, do whatever it takes to get through a workout. For a while in the summer, I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. Oh yeah, okay, Germany. Yeah, so like, could do stuff. I don't know. I don't have any experience about surviving Germany this time of year. But whatever you can find. Like, one thing that I definitely did a lot of is I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and I was able to use the spare bedroom as sort of a home gym, and it sucked. I hated it. It's a tiny little room. When I'm working out in there, it just like traps all the hot, sweaty, breathy air that I'm producing while I'm working out. It sucked. It was the worst. But I had a pull-up bar that I could put in the door frame. I was able to do push-ups. I had a yoga mat that I could do. I got myself some of them rubber resistance bands and stuff, and I made myself do it. And it sucked. But when I started doing that, after a couple months of doing absolutely nothing, it did improve. Like, it still sucked, but I was still, generally speaking, happier about my life. Plus being able to run outside and stuff like that. So I encourage anyone who's like struggling with that kind of stuff, fucking do it. Like, do whatever it takes to get some physical activity, because people really underestimate how important that is, and I feel you on doing that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I hear ya. I don't do home gym as much as I can avoid it as well. But like that's just saying what worked for me. That's what worked for me. Because with COVID still being an ongoing thing until it's gone, that's kind of your safest option. So it's like, it's that, or like I say, do something outside. So I don't know. At any rate, I gotta get signed off here. Because I got stuff. I've got other appointments. Like I say, I got other stuff I gotta do. I gotta stick to my schedule if I want to be a happy people. We are the walking ape. You are not wrong about that. Find a jungle gym outside. There you go. And get find a jungle gym outside and really connect with your inner gorilla. That's there's playgrounds and stuff like that. Just just sanitize your hands when you're done. I don't know. Do that anyway, regardless of COVID, because kids are using that shit and kids are disgusting. But I gotta get myself going. Thank you to everyone who stopped by. This was not the most productive, but it was nice just being able to chat. I mean, fuck, man, I live alone. 24/7 in my apartment. It's nice to just like talk with people who are cool dudes, you know, like everyone I'm talking to here in chat. So yeah, thank you. Go back to maybe but other ones where I've done a lot of writing. You know, if you're interested in what my writing process is, the stuff that I'm working on, the projects like that, you can always check out the VODs on my Twitch channel or on my YouTube channel. It's linked there. I encourage anyone who's interested in just sharing ideas about DMing and world building to check it out. I think it's fun to talk about that. That's why I do it. I love sharing ideas. So you can check those out. I also have, I do some video streaming, although that's not actually these days really the primary thing that I stream. But I will be doing that tomorrow. Coming up this week, I should be able to stream every day this week, you know, Monday through Friday. As always, Monday, Wednesday, Friday are my writing streams. Tuesday, Thursday will be in my game streams. Probably around this time is when I'll be streaming each day. It really depends on what my day job work schedule permits me to do. I'm beholden to that because that's the one that pays the bills. You'll notice I don't have any subscriptions or Patreon or anything. I do this just because I think it's fun. I do not take home any bread for this one. I get no bacon out of it. I don't mind. I love doing it, but it means I'm beholden to my other job. So hopefully I'll be streaming around this time. This weekend probably won't be any gaming streams on Saturday. My sister is coming to town to visit for the weekend, which is nice. Yeah, we'll be doing this weekend, and I don't know if she wants us to or something, we might, but whenever I'm spending time with friends or family, I focus on friends and family, especially these days, as isolated as we all are. It's really important, and I want to make sure that whenever I'm spending time with friends and family, they don't feel like they're second in my attention, right? If I'm spending time with family, I'm spending time with family. So probably no streaming this weekend because of that. But yeah, I mean, we still got plenty of this week to get through. So again, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for the cool people coming in. I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the sharing of ideas. I appreciate streaming and the people that I meet while I'm streaming. I think I'm cool dudes and dudettes around here, and I'm glad to be part of the community here. So with that, I'll sign off. My final call to action is just, as always, to everyone out there, just go out and be good to each other. You know, the world's kind of shit in a lot of ways, so try to not be part of the problem. Try to be part of the solution in whatever small way you can be. That's how I live my life, and that's how I encourage everyone else to live their lives. Find a way to be good and make the world more good. So with that, thank you everyone for stopping by, and we will catch you next time.